Hi everyone, welcome to the Tech Talks of FTech, the technology side of Farfetch. I'm Pedro, the communication responsible for the FTech, and I'll be with you during this talk as the host. Thank you for joining us today on this talk to know more about data governance at Farfetch. It's a pleasure to be with you today, even virtually. I always said in my introduction that for now we'll keep our tech talks virtual, but soon we're really expected to open our doors to you and to host the next talks in our offices. We are going to spend the next hour with Cristiana Azevedo and Miguel Macedo. So just to introduce our guests today, Cristiana is a chemical engineer with a PhD in machine learning for optimizing pharmaceutical processes and a background in data management in oncological clinical trials. Is now a data steward at Farfetch, helping to create the data governance initiative from scratch. Cristiana focuses on understanding and gathering and documenting the business and tech data of Farfetch different teams on a centralized, user-friendly platform, while also focusing on the management and optimization of metadata processes and guidelines. Miguel is a passionate data and analytics professional with more than 15 years of experience and key roles in several projects across retail and telecommunications sector. Miguel has led several transformational initiatives to enable companies become more data-driven, and he is currently leading the Global Data Governance Initiative at Farfetch, focusing on establishing data governance principles and guidelines and working towards awareness and adoption of data governance across all the departments. This initiative aims to ensure a single source of truth for all critical data domains throughout a more than 3,000 employees company. And because in data there is no one size fits all, Miguel continuously works to define optimal solutions to fit with users' needs, providing accessible, trustworthy, and secure data to help them take the right decisions at the right time. Before I hand over to him, I just wanted to tell you that if you have any questions during the presentation or some doubts about data governance at Farfetch, you could put your question in Q&A panel or like other questions from the attendees. I will collect all of them and we try to answer as much as we can at the end of today's session. Once again, thank you for joining us. And now I pass the ball to Miguel Macedo. Welcome, Miguel. It's a pleasure to have you here in the Tech Talks.
Hi, Pedro. Thank you. First, I would like to thank you all for your presence in this session where we will be talking about our data governance journey at Farfetch. So in this presentation, we will be sharing some of our main challenges related to data, as well as the strategy adopted to tackle them, how we are organized, and some key initiatives that we are working on. We will be sharing some real use cases so you can easily understand how the work we are doing impacts our data users, regardless if they are producers, processors, or consumers. We will also talk a little bit about some tips, lessons learned, and outcomes from our initiative. And to finish, we will talk a little bit about the future and which areas we intend to focus and evolve. Here you can see some examples of data-related questions asked by our colleagues in our collaborative channels. This collection is part of a wider assessment made when we started our data governance journey at Farfetch to understand what were our main concerns related with data. This is a reality that is transversal to most organizations. Certainly that most of you already encountered similar questions in your company, or even you are the one who asked them. Questions like, what data do we have, where it is stored, what it means, how can I access and use it in the right way? If I have any doubt, who can support me? These kind of questions tend to become more frequently because the increase of complexity and diversity of data. Nowadays, data is one of the most important assets for any company that wants to become competitive and add differentiated value proposition to its customers. However, unlike most other assets, data gets most value as most it is used. So data should be the basis for any decision making. But if data is so important, it is fundamental to ensure that it is governed in the right way. We need to ensure it is secure like any other valuable asset. and at the same time ensure that our end users are able to extract the most valuable as possible. But what do we mean by saying that data must be governed? In a simple and short sentence, we can say that data governance is a set of principles and practices that ensure high quality, reliable, and secure data through the complete life cycle. It helps to improve its usage and protection. Unfortunately, there is no magic formula to achieve this. Each case is different, and data governance framework must be adapted to each reality. It will be influenced by the maturity, the culture, and the type of business. There are, however, a group of areas or disciplines that ensure the full coverage of data-related aspects. In this slide, you can see the 10 disciplines that Data Management Association, also known as DAMA, define as fundamental to an effective data management. Data governance should act as a glue for those disciplines, ensuring that all they contribute in an orchestrated way to the same common objective of having better and secure data. In today's presentation, we will focus on the disciplines that we consider to be the most important to address our challenges. First, we can only manage what we know that exists. Therefore, one of the main disciplines is related to metadata management, both technical or business. What data we have, where it is located, what it means. With metadata management, we intend to promote transparency and consistency for our data. However, what is the advantage for us to understand our data if we cannot trust it? Data quality is extremely important, as it will allow us to measure the quality of the data and providing the users the confidence while using it. Also, establishing a standardization of collection from different sources, classifying and categorizing it to promote a standard and consistent view. One of the main objectives of the reference and master data management discipline. For last but not the least, data storage and data security are fundamental disciplines to support compliance, like GDPR, SOX, PCI. It is very important to ensure the sensitivity classification of our data that will allow us to ensure that it is safe and only accessible by the right persons. Although we are covering all the disciplines here represented, data governance main focus and efforts are currently concentrated in the ones highlighted. But why? Why are we focusing on those disciplines? Basically, to ensure that we are able to accomplish our main initial objectives. First, establish a common and transversal language across Farfetch, with the centralization of existing knowledge in a central repository, ensuring everyone has visibility of the concepts we have, promoting accountability, and ensuring everyone talks or uses the same language. We don't want users calling different names for the same thing, or the same name for different things. Another objective was and is to centralize information, metadata, from our different data systems into a single and centralized location, allowing a transversal vision for all the technical assets, regardless if they are files, database, tables, reports, or dashboards. And at the same time, ensuring the enrichment of that metadata with additional and complementary context. We want to increase operational efficiencies, ensuring data is easy to find, easy to understand, and it is reliable. Identifying data that is duplicated, that is no longer necessary, with this reducing costs and reducing the development complexity and facilitating impact analysis and change management. As I mentioned also, we want to support compliance, GDPR, SOX, PCI, by classifying information and defining processes and standards to protect important and sensitivity data. So improving trust in data at all levels of Farfetch, allowing our colleagues to be more confident in decisions they make while ensuring the right protection of our data. But all of this seems very theoretical. And I said that the purpose for this presentation was to share our experience, how it translates into our daily activities. And no better than someone that is on the ground to share this experience with you. So I will now hand over to Christiana, data steward in our data governance team.
Thank you, Miguel. So when I joined Farfetch, data governance was me and Miguel. And there was no real centralized approaches or processes for data governance in place at the time. We did a bit of everything, but as the team grew, we started to have different and more specialized focus. So the functional data stewards, they are more concentrated on the business objectives. So they work directly with the business teams to do the onboarding of new departments into our governance activities, identification of key people to collaborate with. We define policies and processes together with other departments, and we started the collection and centralization of business contents like business terms, measures, KPIs. And to make our life easier, we have the technical data stewards who do automatically the collection of technical metadata. They create automate processes, take care of reporting and monitoring, and are constantly creating and customizing new workflows. But we are not alone. We have already interacted with almost every different department at Farfetch. We are aligned with some teams for the creation of policies, guidelines, and standards, such as architecture, legal, and security. Then there are other teams that we work more closely in our day-to-day activities, such as data quality team, which is responsible for the creation of quality rules that are integrated so that end users can have access to it. And then a key department is the engineering, who are the guys who actually create and transform data. And they are key to ensure that everybody has the correct interpretation of this data. But all of this is useless if there's nobody to take advantage of this data. So we also act as a bridge between all of these departments and the business departments, who are the users of the data that need to have correct understanding of the data to make sound business decisions. So we have discussion forums with working groups from these business areas where we collect extra information from this data and we centralize it. In this way, data governance, we act as a bridge between all of these teams. We are supported by some departments, enriched by others. We dictate rules to many departments, and we receive feedback from all these departments. You saw our interactions and goals with other teams, but how is this translated in our framework? Here on the left, we have the technical guys who collect, standardize, and enrich metadata from different sources, and we centralize it in our platform. We also have experts, either technical or business subject matter experts, from which we collect more information and we enrich the data from the data sources. Then we have teams like data quality who help us enrich this data with quality, profiling, and lineage rules. And all of this data is centralized in our platform and is readily available to all users, all employees from Farfetch, either is an experienced user or a new joiner who can use this platform to get up to speed what everybody is doing in terms of data. So this is our data governance center. We want this to be the Google of Farfetch. Here we are centralizing and curating business terms, measures, KPIs, all types of technical assets such as databases, tables, columns, dashboards, reports, also data products. And we are curating the frequently asked questions and their answers and helpful queries. We are also identifying and defining other parameters of all this data that I mentioned. So who is the owner? There is sensitivity classification of this data. There is PII. We're defining quality indicators. We are establishing relations between business assets and technical assets, and also we're defining and making visible what is the technical lineage of data assets. Here are some numbers of what we've been doing so far. More in the business side, we have already onboarded over 600 users from 7 different departments. We have defined over 1,000 business assets and 9 data policies. The tech data stores have integrated 7 systems, ingested over 2 million technical assets, have curated over 50,000 technical assets, and created 900 quality metrics. You remember the questions Miguel mentioned in the beginning about our data challenges. So now I'm going to share some use cases of how we're already helping our data users with their day-to-day activities. First one, finding data. Imagine you receive a report and you don't know what a measure or acronym means. You can search it in our platform and find out what it means, how it's calculated, the formula, and whatever relations this measure has with other assets. For instance, in this case, gross merchandise value. You can see where it's represented in different tables, columns, even they can have access to the query that you should use to calculate the enterprise version of this measure. You can also see who is responsible for this measure and contact him directly with any questions, taking advantage of the custom workflows developed by the technical team. This way, in summary, we have a facilitated onboarding. So when someone new joins Farfetch, can be up to speed quickly to what everybody else is doing. We improve analytics efficiency, and the knowledge that's normally spread throughout developers or product managers is not lost if someone leaves the company, for instance. Another use case, using data. How many times have you had a metric and you didn't know where to get it from, the correct column or table, or you wanted to know the difference between two tables or two columns that were apparently very similar? We have aggregated frequently asked questions and answers from our users from different channels, for instance, from Slack. So most likely, if you type your question, you'll be able to find an answer to your issue. Also, this answer can be in the form of a helpful query. In this way, we can speed up our analysis. Very important, we get uniform answers. So we make sure that everybody has access to the same answer to an issue. And again, knowledge is not lost. Trusting data. What's the good of data if you don't know if you can trust it? We have centralized quality rules, what they are and what they mean, and how they relate with technical assets. So we can calculate the existing quality for an asset, for instance, for a table and for a column, and which quality rules are associated with this. In this way, you improve confidence. You know to which degree the data that you're using is correct, and you can use this value to identify issues. In this case, for instance, what you can see is 100% of the rules that we had, all columns passed. But in the case this number was lower than 100, you could verify easily what was the issue. Now, tracing data. We can also analyze quality in the form of a diagram and have visibility of the quality throughout the data cycle, taking advantage of the Lineage capabilities. By tracing data, we can anticipate problems if we change something upstream and measure what's impacted. You have access to where data comes from, where it's going. So for instance, if you change something again upstream, you have a measure of what will be impacted and by how much. This way, we can minimize the impact for users, we support impact analysis, and change management. This is a centralized platform, accessible to everybody at Farfetch. So we must ensure that everyone can interact and collaborate. It's the only way that we can keep this platform alive, updated, and relevant. Therefore, in any type of asset, in a table, in a data product, in a metric, you can comment, you can ask questions to the responsible, you can even propose new assets, taking advantage of the workflows of approval developed by the technical data stewards. In this way, we improve operational efficiency, we speed up our analysis, and more extremely important, we promote collaboration. Finally, promoting transparency. Like I said before, there are workflows of approval that we already use when someone asks access to a specific object or domain. But we are also promoting transparency in our platform by sharing what our processes are, by centralizing our data policies and standards. For instance, who can access what, how is the metadata collection done. This way, everyone has the same understanding of what we have, how to use or access data, what rules to follow. Remember, Miguel said in the beginning that one of our goals was to support compliance. In this way, we have here collected guidelines about what is sensitive information, does it have PII, and these types of issues. Now I'll hand over to Miguel for some final considerations.
Thank you, Christiana. So during our journey, we have learned a lot and realized there are a number of aspects that we believe to be fundamental to ensure the success of any initiative like this. It is essential for any organization to be aware of the importance of having a good data management, whatever its importance is driven by legal constraints, operational efficiency, or both. Having the right sponsorship and finding the right people to collaborate with persons who see value, interest in collaborate, because those will be the persons that will guarantee the growth of the initiative. I can say that this factor was and continues to be fundamental at Farfetch. The commitment is notorious and is transversal to the different teams, from the technological teams to the business areas. So having the right sponsorship, investment, and culture, and also communication are crucial to make sure that the data governance program is effective. As we have seen, there are many of disciplines that we can explore related with data. Sometimes it's easy for us to get lost if we do not define clear and tangible objectives. It is important to be agile and able to quickly adapt. Being able to add value quickly is essential to not lose the momentum. We must start simple and evolve over time. Also very important is to measure the progress of the initiative. It's really important for us to provide visibility of the work that we are doing and make that information available so everyone can see how we are evolving. Because of data governance is intrinsically related to people, it is essential to ensure collaboration and continuously interactions. I think this is one of the key parts of any data governance initiative, is to ensure that everyone collaborates and continuously to interact. So we already have achieved many objectives, but we know that our journey is still in the beginning. In a company like Farfetch that is continuously growing with new systems, with new areas, new teams, including new companies, it's really important for us to keep growing and all continuously doing new things. There is still a lot of knowledge to consolidate, to standardize, new systems to integrate, new information to centralize. To ensure that the initiative is success, we need to automate the activities as much as possible. This is the only way for us to ensure agility and scalability. Also, another topic very important is we want to explore more topics related with machine learning, artificial intelligence mechanisms that allow us to automate as many governance activities as possible, enabling automatically data identification and supporting the classification of the data that we have, understanding where is the data, what is the content of the data, and providing automations on classification, supporting for data quality. There is no enough data stewardship or human capital to address data quality challenges alone. It is really important for us to automate this with machine learnings and artificial intelligence capabilities also. And also something that is very difficult to achieve and we need to explore and our efforts and that more is support and improve data lineage capabilities by automatically identifying and establishing dependencies across different systems. We believe artificial intelligence and machine learning can be leveraged to introduce significant innovation in data management. All the work we are doing is with the ultimate goal of promoting the democratization of knowledge, promoting transparency and collaboration, and always ensuring the proper security of Farfetch data. So this is our goal. This is our mission. We want data governance activities to be present in day-to-day activities of any Farfetch employee. It must become business as usual. Everyone is responsible to ensure data is secure and reliable to support decision-making. Thank you, everyone. Pedro?
Thank you so much, Miguel. Wonderful talk. So now it's time for the questions, and we have a lot of them. During this Q&A, I just want to tell you that I put right now, just a second, right now, question for you, survey. So if you want to give your opinion about this talk, please fill out this survey. Your opinion is very important for us. So, as I said before, we have a lot of questions from the attendees to be answered. I'll put the question and maybe then Miguel and Cristiana decide who will answer. So, start from the first question from Carlos Correia. How should we proceed to ensure data governance does not fall to the bottom priority? Everyone assumes that data governance is important, but in the reality, I always see it being relegated to the second plan.
So I can handle that, Pedro. I think I think the answer for that question is related about the tips that we share. And this question makes sense because when we start talking about data governance and we start presenting this, what we are doing, everyone sees value on this. But then we need to keep engagement with those persons. It's important for them not only to see value, but to collaborate and enrich that information. So what we think that it makes sense for us is to prototype and really expose the value that we can collect with decentralization. The time, exposing the time that we spend currently searching for data, and with these solutions that we can much more easily find the data, promoting this global understanding and the same understanding across different departments, promoting this collaboration. So I would say that it's exposing the value. So the people can be part of that and can take part of that and can maintain. Of course, that this is crucial is for us to have the sponsorship from leadership, from senior leadership. Otherwise, it will not work. But we need to balance this sponsorship with the proof of value with our end users, the users that will keep this information alive.
Okay. Next question. So far, I can see that a lot of emphasis is placed on the functional and technical requirements of the data. Can I ask what measures Farfetch takes to ensure that data is collected, used, stored ethically? Do you have an impartial committee to keep you and your practices honest with accountability?
So this is about what we are doing also, and we were talking and the presentation was focusing more on the collecting and enriching the metadata, but it's really important for us to define processes, to define policies, so everyone can treat the data exactly following the standards that our DPO and other teams, security teams, architecture teams define it. So it's really important for us to have this guideline, these processes, so everyone follows. And of course, as Cristiana mentioned, we work in collaboration with the security, with the legal team, with the architecture, and so on. So they are they contribute with their inputs, so we can consolidate them in the policies and processes that everyone needs to follow. Regarding the existence of groups, what we have is that we have first working groups that we collaborate with each individual business area, and then we have a more wider group where we approve those guidelines, where we approve those processes to ensure that they will be applied across all the departments that we have and that take part of this initiative.
Okay, we have a lot of questions. I don't know if we have the time to answer all of them, but I keep
now one for Cristiana, Pedro.
I will put the questions most liked in the Q&A. So next one, hi, if you were starting your data governance initiative now, would you be doing something different?
So Pedro, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. I think that when we started, like I mentioned, it was just me and Miguel, and we started with a specific department at Farfetch. And I thought that I was naive to think that everybody would have the same types of problems. So it took me a bit to get rid of that prejudice that I really need to have the feedback, the initial feedback from what is the specific issue that the team needs to address. So I would say that it's very crucial to before telling people what to do is really to understand what are the data and metadata issues, and to, like Miguel said, to prototype. We need to prototype very quickly, especially when we are just starting. When we, like I said, before us, there was no real data governance team. So the first months or year, it was really trial and error. But I think we did a good job. But if I could change something, it would be to involve the teams on time zero. But yes, I don't know if Miguel wants to add anything else.
I can have one thing, because I will spend less time in the theoretical part. It is important for us to have a clear vision of what we intend to solve, to have the framework in place. But I will say that the best way for us, after we have this global idea, what we need to achieve how we will do it, is to go to the ground and start working closely to the data users. So I will not take so much time thinking in a ideal solution. I will create the minimum and then enriching that based on the interactions that we have, because we realize that working, as Cristiano was mentioned, collecting this feedback, interacting, collaborating is crucial for us to ensure the success of the initiative.
Okay, so now we have a lot of questions about this, and I'll pick one from Giovanni Perovelli. Hi guys, I hope you are enjoying your data governance journey. I would like to know if you guys are currently using any data governance tool and intend to.
Cristiana, do you want to handle that?
So we currently are using a technology from Colibra, a Belgium company. And yes, Miguel did the procurement. He tried a bunch of different technologies, and finally we've been working with a Colibra. We have been enjoying very much working with them so far. Yes.
Yeah, we are using Colibra, and as I mentioned, as part of the procurement, it was decided to go through Colibra because of the flexibility and capability to integrate easily with other solutions, and we will not like to have a single solution for everything. We would like to take the most advantage of each area. So Colibra provided us that capability, being modular and quickly adapt and integrate with other solutions. So we are very happy with the solution so far.
Okay, thank you. Now, a question from Chris Jayaraman. Are there any metrics or a mechanism you have to see the adoption of the platform? And what approach are you following to address challenges in that area?
I can handle that, Cristiana. So there are, for me, two types of metrics that we can use to track the adoption of the solution or the initiative itself, because it is materialized on the contents that we are including in the solution. The first one is the usage. So how many people are accessing to the data, what they are searching, and so on. And the second part is about the contents. We need to continuously measure the new contents that are being added to the solution, regardless if they are business terms, KPIs, definitions, frequently asked questions. And we need to keep pushing for both. We need to ensure that we have new contents. We need to continuously communicating the new contents that we are including in the platform, and at the same time measuring the adoption and the usage of the solution by our end users. So we have indicators like the number of assets that were created, technical or not, the number of systems that were integrated, and also the usage of the tool itself by the users.
Okay, thank you, Miguel. Now a question from Ana Ribeiro. Hi, could this type of knowledge base for data governance be applicable for any biotech company, regardless of what they do, as a data quality management system?
So I can answer. What we are doing is very interesting because the question was if this was applicable to a biotech industry.
Yeah.
Where I work, where my colleagues work, we are approximately 1,000 engineers, and I have no contact almost with the end product. So the developers and engineers, what we are doing, it could be easily transposed to other type of area as long as there's a data flow of information. So yes, of course the vocabulary would be different, but all the entire pipeline of data that we have, it will be similar to what it's been done in other areas. I understand that in biotech, of course, it depends on what you're doing, but you would have a lot of similarities and challenges similar to what you're doing. So yes, without a doubt.
Okay. And now the last question, I think. So how do you expect to use machine learning and AI in your data governance initiative?
I think I have answered that question in the slide, but basically we would like to use, and we are already using somehow for profiling of data, but we would like to keep pushing on that, and we would like to explore even more, because as I mentioned, with this growth of data, new types of data, new systems, we need to ensure scalability to ensure that we grow. So having these types of machine learning and artificial intelligence to support us in terms of lineage, in terms of identification of sensitivity of data that is sensitive, or even in terms of data profiling for supporting and for highlighting some outliers in terms of data quality is crucial, because we need to collect this basic information. We need to enrich this information with the knowledge that the business users or the technical users know about it. But at the same time, we need to establish processes taking advantage of these kind of technologies, also to enrich that information and to provide scalability, and for us to be able to anticipate potential needs related with the data quality, for instance. So we need to identify outliers and make them visible to the community.
Okay, thank you so much, Miguel and Cristiana. Any final words from you?
No, I would like just to thank you everyone for your presence here. And Pedro, I think you shared the contacts, and it will be a pleasure for me if you want to make any contacts. It will be a pleasure for me to go into more detail and to clarify any doubt that you may have. It was really a pleasure, and I would like to thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. And Cristiana?
Yes, I make Miguel my words. I hope to receive your calls or contacts from, you have my LinkedIn. You can easily find me or Miguel. And yes, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Miguel and Cristiana. And also thank you all for your time. Stay tuned for the next Farfetch Tech Talk in March. It was a pleasure to us, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.